Welcome to this HelloID webinar brought to you by Tools Forever. Today we'd like to give you an overview of the new functionality in HelloID. We encourage you to ask questions. You can do this via the WebEx chat option. You can find the option here. At the end of the demonstration, your questions will be answered. I'd like to turn this over to Tjeerd Seinen, HelloID Product Manager. He will explain and demonstrate the new HelloID functionality. Enjoy, and don't forget to post the questions.
Jamie, thank you again for the introduction. And everybody, welcome to this webinar. And in this webinar, I'd like to cover the new functionality we have released last week, earlier this week for US and yesterday for Europe. And I'd like to cover the new functionality in this April release. And again, I have a PowerPoint presentation prepared. I'd like to give you a short overview of the new functionality, and then I will demo the new functionality to you. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat box and I will answer them at the end of the presentation. Okay, let's start. Turn on the PowerPoint presentation pointer. And I like to start with service automation first. We have six new items, excuse me. And the first one is that we have now the requester information as part of the delegated form task. So if you execute a task in a delegated form, you can use the delegated form, the requester information. So like the username of the requester that is executing the form, or perhaps even the department. We also have included two new reports. We already had the manager user reports, but now we extended it with the products. So now the manager can see which users are working for his department, but also see what products they are using. We also have a new report for the product owners. So now the product owners can see which products they are available or is responsible for and who is using those products. And we have three new items for full API support. We already started with this in March this year, last month, and we finished this month. So now you can have with a PowerShell script, for example, and this is particularly interesting if you want to deploy a new portal. You can automatically deploy as many forms as you like, but including the data sources and the tasks, the delegated forms and the products. And you can create that in one run. That is particularly interesting for consultants or MSPs that need to do a lot of deployment in HelloID. And now you can automate this whole process. Okay, and I will demo you this at the end later on in the webinar. Okay, let's go to provisioning. Now we have 7 new items, and the first one is multiple notifications. It used to be 1 per target connector. And then, for example, you could send an email to the manager that a new account was created. Now you can create as many emails as you like. You can send them to the end user, to the manager, or to the IT people. Very flexible system, and I will demo you later on in this webinar. We can now also manage user directories as part of the Active Directory target connector. And then you can also create and archive them, and you have some other options. And then again, I will show you that in the demo. We also have a new advanced business rule. And now we can also set entitlements or rules actually on the title of the contract. So you can say if you are a manager, you will get specific entitlements. Powerful option. We also have the option now to set the account expiration date in the Active Directory. So you can get it in line with, for example, for temp or flex users or end of contract dates. We also have a new option, and that's part of the notification section, that you can send out an evaluation report of what the provisioning engine has done. So it's an overview report, and so you can see every morning what the provisioning actions were. And you also have the option to link to a more detailed page. This is a more advanced option. We used to do this by hand and to specify what column headers were as an input, but now the connector is so smart that it will take the first row and use that as a column header for the mapping. So it's more easier now to configure. You don't have to do this by hand anymore. We also are developing and making it more easier to get debugging information. If everything is okay, then it's easy to configure provisioning. But if something is wrong, you need to really have to search. And we will make this easier. For now, this is the first step, so you can send a specific ticket number to our support desk, and then we will help you on what's going on and what's going wrong. In the next release, we will give you the option to do this yourself. So we will publish a UI where you can access the stack driver information and get more detailed information on what's going wrong in your provisioning configuration. Okay, of course you can try this yourself. This is not by default turn on in your environment, so you have to request this at support, and it is available in preview and production. Okay, last module, access management. We have two new items, one major one, and that's WS Federation. So now we have more full support with Microsoft. So support for Outlook Web Access, SharePoint, ID Web, and these kind of things. And it's a lot easier to have this this authentication with the Microsoft products. This is a small one, but this has been requested quite often. Now you have the option not, if you as an end user you log into HelloID, you're not being redirected to the SSO applications. We have the alternative to redirect to an outside URL or to another section in HelloID. For example, jump to the self-service section. Okay, so let me demo this new functionality to you. Please, again, if you have questions, put them in the chat box and I will answer them at the end of the demonstration. So I'd like to start with access management first. So let me go to my portal and I will log in as myself. And I have a two-factor using the FIDO YubiKey. And now you immediately can see that I'm not logged in and redirected to this page, but I'm redirected to this page. So that's actually the second option. And here I can show you as an admin where you can change that here in company. So here. And of course this is also documented. Not yet everything is documented in new features. So here's the default. This is the thing that is being documented. I think important to know is that the documentation is not fully in line with the new functionality we have released this week, but we're really pushing to have that in the future available. So that means that if we release functionality, it's also going to be fully documented. So perhaps today you will find that partially, but we want to have that 100% covered. And probably going to take us a couple of months to have that in place. Okay, so this is the default URL. The other option is the WS Federation. And let me show you here in my production environment, I have Outlook Web Access, redirected, logged in, and using the WS Federation protocol to log into to Outlook. It looks really simple. But of course, it takes a lot of effort to get that in place. And of course, this is identified and logged in as JSign in the SharePoint portal. Okay, so let me also briefly how you can configure this. You can go to Applications, and of course, you all know where to find that. I can search for the SharePoint. And this is actually a section that is not 100% documented yet, but it definitely will be on the short term. We are in process to have that complete. And this is the whole configuration, pretty straightforward. You can also use the mapping, powerful option, and all the known options, of course, are available. Okay, so let me switch over to service automation and show you there the new functionality. First thing I'd like to show you is the requester variable. And let me log in as a manager. So that's going to be the requester, and that's going to be Amir Atkinson. And you can go to the service desk, and I create a specific example form for this one. Is this demo requester variable, and that's of course exactly the thing I'd like to demo. The form itself is empty because I only use the variable in the task. So let me submit this form, go back to the administrator portal, automation, task history, and then the demo requested variable should be here, executed by Amir Atkinson. So that's the one who started it. And if I go in the process log, here I can see that Amir Atkinson actually executed the form. That's the requester. I can also see it as an input variable. So here's the requester name. Of course, that's also in the form itself. And go there, delegated form. This is the same form again. Task, edit. And this is the variable. This is the item we have added. Of course, I can use requester.user attributes.department or whatever and pass that to the task that's going to execute the command. Okay, so we also added the report that is in the inside section. So now we only have one. That's to give an overview of the users. That was this one. But now we have multiple reports available, and it's the combo select here. So here you can find the new reports. I can also show you the result in the email. I prepared some messages before the meeting. So this one, for example, is new. So here, as Amir Atkinson, I can see that I'm manager and who has access to what product. So I can have an overview of the people I'm responsible for, and I can immediately see which product they own. And I also have Amir Atkinson as the products that I'm responsible for, and so I can see that these are the products and these are the people that have access to the products, but that's more from a product owner perspective. Okay, please let us know, put it on the product board if you want to have additional reports. So these were just 2 extra in this release. Okay, the next item is the API support. That's a big change, and I also made one little slide for that to explain what the API is actually doing. It creates a task, so the red items are tasks. Turn on the PowerPoint pointer, so this is a task, and it will create a data source on top of that, another to get the company attributes, a data source. It also automatically creates a form and a delegated form with a delegated to a group. And if the form is going to be executed, it actually executes the task again. And that's of course part of the form. It creates this one script I'm going to show you is going to create this whole set and make it available for the manager. So let me switch back to the manager. Of course, no, I have to switch back to automation task, and here's the PowerShell script. I already prepared this one, and here's the task itself. And this is the task executing the different sections via the API. So for example, here we'll create the task to retrieve information based on wildcard, and I will show you the result for the end for the manager. So let me run this script. Save and run. And now we'll start creating all the items I just showed you in the PowerPoint presentation. The data source, the tasks, the form, the delegated forms, access to the form, etc. So come back to the manager. I'm here Atkinson, and there is no API created form yet, but if I do a refresh, you will see here, this one is new. This is the API completely created. So I can search for a user, let's search for myself. Retrieving information, it's actually getting the AD attribute. I can make a modification, and then if I submit, then the task will be doing an update on the AD attributes, update this to a new company name. Okay, so this was service automation. Again, if you have any questions, put it in the chat box. And now let me switch over to provisioning. And the first item I'd like to show you is the notification. So let me go to the provisioning section. And this is a new item. It used to be part of the target system, and now we have this as a separate section. And your old ones are going to be converted here, and there will be converted name. But I made some modifications. I used to have only one email notification. That was an email to the manager for the Active Directory on-premise, but now I also do an email to the employee itself. The mechanism itself is more or less the same. So this is how you can specify the message, and of course you can differentiate that between the manager, in my example, and the employee. So I'll also show you the email some evaluation. That is this item, and so you basically have two options. I can do an account create for which system, but I can also do evaluation summary. And now let me show you how the results look like. So I'll go back to the manager, and I have an email box here. And here you can see, well, to start with the provisioning summary, I created one example, one demo account, and I can see that accounts have been created for the on-premise Active Directory, and also for the other systems has been done nothing, SQLite has been created, etc. So I can easily see every day what the provisioning engine has done. And I have the option here to jump to a more detailed report and see exactly what has been done. And I've been creating George Verban. And here you can see that the manager receives an email, and that is the Active Directory. I'm looking for, so this is the email that's been sent to the manager, to Amir Atkinson, that George V has been created with this password. And as you can jump into the service desk to make modifications to this newly created user. But this is the email to the manager. That's the email notification to the manager. And this is new. This, this is actually the extra notification. This is the email to the employee himself. And it shows that he has a new account. And of course, if he logs in first, he will get this welcome message. And of course, you can put any information in this message as you like. Okay, this was the notification. Let me jump over to the user directories. That's part of the target system, and then of course on-premise. And here you can find the directories. This is a new section, a new tab, and here you can specify the different types of directories: terminal server, profile, etc. I have configured the home directory, and if an account is going to be enabled, of course you can turn this on and off. A home directory will be created in this on this server path. I can also set the AD attributes. I can set that the H is the home drive letter, and if the account is deleted or removed, then you have the archive, and then the home directory will be moved. And of course, the correct permissions will be set, that only the end user, the created user, as part of the username is going to have, because that will be added here, going to have access to that created home directory. Okay, this is for the directories. The business rules, that's the next item, and that's the title filter. So the scope is changed now. So I have this changed here, group for managers. And now I have in the condition, I can say that if the title, the job title of a person is director or manager, then you will get these entitlements. And I will like this option very much, because this is giving an extra option now to set specific entitlements for job titles. Okay, we also have account expiration. So if I can go to the target system and to the account, and I have created it, I already set it, let me, here it is. And now I set the account expiration on the primary contract end date. You can also set a fixed date, and then it automatically comes with a calendar component. Makes it more easy to have a fixed date on a created account. Okay, I also showed you the summary of the evaluation. The last thing I'd like to show you is that you can do the stack driver integration support. So I have to go to entitlements. And I think I don't have any failures. That's a bit of a shame. But if this was failed, then you have here the option to get, so I can get information on this task by copy pasting this and sending this to iSupport. Something was wrong with the screen, sorry for that. But if you send this information to iSupport, then you get detailed information on why a particular task went wrong. Okay, this was it for today. Again, I think it's a very interesting release. Success if you come to use it, and please let us know if you have any questions. I see there are again some questions on the chat, but remember you can also always send your questions to iSupport or to your local office in your region. Jamie, can you please read the questions for me? Thank you.
Hi, yes, thank you so much, Cheered. This first question actually comes from an MSP who we all know has many different clients. So, is there additional development on the schedule to make HelloID more efficient for MSPs now that we have the API support for managing the deployment of forms?
Yes, for us, the API is the first step in supporting MSPs and managed service providers, so implementation parties or companies that support a larger number of clients. We will be adding more and more functionality to the HelloID portal to support those parties. For now, the first step is the API, and I think that's a big, powerful step first. But making additional changes in the UI, that will take a while. That probably going to be, I anticipate, beginning of next year. So that's the first step is really 100% API, and to give the opportunity to automate as much as possible via the API interface. Okay, thank you. Next question, Jamie.
Sure, second question. The service automation GUI looks nice, but not necessarily easy to use. Have you any plans for making the GUI easier to use?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Yes, we are definitely considering to modify the interface. So let me show you how it looks today. Of course, you all know this. Already logged out, logging in again, using the two-factor. So this is the interface you're talking about, the service automation self-service interface. And I think it's okay, but we're not really happy with it. We're not. The state is confusing. You also have different options depending on how the product reacts, and yeah, we think it's too complicated. So we are in the middle of designing a new interface, and this is a mock-up, so it's not a real interface. We have to refresh again. There we are. And this is the new interface. So this is old and this is new. And now you have here the option for, so it will fold in, fold out, but this is important. You're only probably going to have one plus sign to request a product, and we also, of course, have the filters, the state. This is the list view instead of the grid view, so you have more products available on one screen. The categories are from the side to the top, and that's more a shop type of interface. So now this is filtering based on this filter that's been set here. So we are in process of making a new design. That will take a while. We'll do this carefully. Probably going to release this somewhere in August or even later, so probably Q3 this year. Okay, thank you. I see that there are some other questions, Jamie.
All right. The business rules and provisioning are powerful, especially with the new options to filter on job titles. So, what's the consideration coming to include wildcards and not in expressions?
Yes, this is a commonly asked question. The business rules can be set on if equal to, so you can say if you're sales or IT or account manager, but you don't have the option not. So you cannot say I want to give um, all the people that are not a manager particular access right. We have not that available. We're not sure if we're really going to do it because it has a huge performance impact on the provisioning engine. And so it's definitely under consideration. It's being asked a lot, but we don't have it available yet. That's the same for the wildcards. That's also perhaps you want to do everything with a particular job title, start, or department start, and everything that's behind it's a wildcard. We don't have it yet because of the performance implications. Okay, thank you, Jamie. I think that's you have the last question.
The last question I'm showing here, Cheered, is the SSO app tab. It's still shown after the new redirect option. Is there an option to completely remove the SSO tab?
No, this is not an option today. You can remove it, but then you need to dive into the CSS style sheet in the settings, GUI settings in the admin portal. So you can do it, but you need to use the style sheet to do it. Otherwise, it will still be shown. Okay, so that was the last question. So we came to an end in this for this webinar. Again, proud of what we have done this month. I'd like to thank everybody for the good effort and hope you enjoy the new functionality and hopefully we see each other again next month. Okay, thank you and bye bye.